In the New York Times today, by the way, there's a piece. It's in their opinionator section. It's not really a news story, so it is somebody's opinion. And the title, Rich People Just Care Less. Yep. Turning a blind eye, giving someone the cold shoulder, looking down on people, seeing right through them. These metaphors for condescending or dismissive behavior are more than just descriptive. They suggest to a surprisingly accurate extent the social distance between those with greater power and those with less, a distance that goes beyond the realm of interpersonal interactions and may exacerbate the soaring inequality in the United States. Now, keep in mind, this soaring inequality has taken place under a euphoric, almost utopian Democrat administration. We're coming up on 5 years of this now. We're almost at a 5-year mark here on the Obama regime, and the gap between rich and poor is indeed wider than ever because the poor are getting poorer. Everybody wants to talk about the rich getting richer. The poor are getting poorer, and the middle class are getting poorer. And that's one of the primary reasons. I've got a great piece about what's happening in California. We've talked about this on several previous occasions, but California is really two different parts of the country, abject poverty and obscene wealth. The obscene wealth is in San Francisco, the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and Hollywood. And elsewhere in the state, it is abject poverty. And a guy named Leo Klotkin has written a piece saying that California, Victor Davis Hansen's written about this extensively, by the way, at National Review online, but he says it's becoming almost medieval and feudal, Feudal, the way California is ending up economically. And it's run by Democrats, and what that means is the gap between the rich and the poor in California is widening, and that state has been run by Democrats for who knows how long. And the rich in California are almost exclusively, not totally, of course, but the vast majority of the uber wealthy in San Francisco. Even though this is a contradiction, even though many of them are entrepreneurial, they line up with the collectivist Democrat Party. And they do so for the social reasons, to be able to say they have compassion, to be able to say they care about people, to be able to be progressive on social things like gay marriage and abortion and this kind of thing. So the gap between rich and poor is widening because the poor are getting poor, the rich are getting richer. But that always happens. The one thing about this country has always been that the rising characteristics of the middle class were paramount. People were striking out, seeking their fortunes every day, every month, every year, every generation. And that's changing. And it's extremely upsetting. So anyway, here we have on cue this piece in the New York Times, Rich People Just Care Less. And I'm convinced that pieces like this are why otherwise conservative-oriented people in business identify with a collectivist, socialist politics, so that it will not be said of them that they don't care. So it will not be said of them that they are indifferent. In fact, this guy is Richard Daniel Coleman. Goleman is the guy, the author here. I think it's a C or a G. It looks like a Goleman, Goleman. A growing body of research recently shows that people with the most social power pay scant attention to those with such little power, kind of like Obama and the bitter clingers. But that's not what this guy has in mind. This tuning out, the socially powerful, paying scant attention to those with little power, this tuning out has been observed, for instance, with strangers in a mere 5-minute get-acquainted session, where the more powerful person shows fewer signals of paying attention, like nodding or laughing. You believe that? I'm not kidding you. Folks, there's an attack on masculinity taking place in this country, and it has been for quite a while, and you see it manifest itself every day in this country. And the month of October, it really manifests itself in a very prominent way. But this all-out assault on achievement now, I mean, it is being fired with both barrels in the midst of economic downturn, in this effort to continually divide us. So the readers of the New York Times are now learning that the powerful, when they meet somebody that's not powerful, ignores them and doesn't pay any attention to them and doesn't smile and basically is not polite to them. As though this is something new, and it's something new here in 2013 and has hooks into certain aspects of America that are really, really bad, that poor Barack Obama is trying to fix but just can't quite do it. Higher status people are also more likely to express disregard through facial expressions and are more likely to take over the conversation and interrupt or look past the other speaker. As though this is somehow, it used to be in America, do you know this? That Warren Buffett would walk into the homeless guy, and sit there, actually have a conversation with him. And the homeless guy crack jokes, and Warren Buffett sit there and laugh and smile, pat him on the back, and give him a, couple $1,000,000, say, have a nice day. That's the way it used to be. And then Bill Gates, and he's over in Africa, and he's trying to keep people from getting AIDS and malaria, so he runs around and he sees these poor people. He stops. He has a nice conversation. How you doing? Oh, just fine. They crack jokes. Bill Gates laughs at him. J.P. Morgan. Did you know J.P. Morgan left his home each and every day, went outside. He ran in. He purposely sought out people with no power, and he engaged them in conversation, asked them how they were. And if whatever they said, he smiled, he laughed, he put his arm around them, he welcomed into his home. Oh, yeah. And the Rockefellers, to this day, David Rockefeller, he'll run into a poor guy with no power, and he'll invite him up to the house and say, what's going on? How can I help you? What are we doing? And the guy will start talking to him, and Rockefeller will not look away and will act oh, yeah, this used to happen. I don't know what brought this on. It could be Romney. Maybe it's talk radio that's causing all this incivility. Oh, you're not aware of Buffett seeking out homeless people, giving them $2 million and asking them how they are and listening to what they say and smiling and laughing at their joke? Oh. Don't you see it on the trains? The rich get on the train and they mingle with the... Yes, they do. The rich ride the trains. How about you see the rich in the first class section of the airplane? They come back and they go back and talk to the people back in coach. How you doing? I'm sorry I can't sit back here with you, but I love you. If you got any jokes, I'll be glad to listen to them, and I won't act like I'm bored. That used to happen all the time, didn't it? And now something's happened, folks, and we're just plain flat-out mean, particularly the rich. They look at somebody and they say, you know what, you're a powerless boob. I don't have time for you. Get the hell out of my face. Apparently this is common in America. Of course, writes Mr. Goldman, in any society, social power is relative. Any of us may be higher or lower in a given interaction. And the research shows the effect still prevails. Though the more powerful pay less attention to us than we do to them, in other situations, we are relatively higher on the totem pole of status, and we, too, tend to pay less attention to those a rung or two down. So it doesn't matter where you are. There's always somebody who has more. I don't care who you are. But what this guy's saying is, no matter where you fall on the income ladder, say, the people that are lower than you treat them like dirt now. And you used to not to. When they would come up and speak to you, you'd stop what you were doing and smile and shake their hands and act engaging, basically be polite. Now everybody just rude. A prerequisite to empathy is simply paying attention to the person in pain. I'm not kidding. I could go on with this. This is about some research performed by a guy named Keltner, and his research found that the poor, compared to the wealthy, have keenly attuned interpersonal attention in all directions, in general. So not only do the rich treat other people rudely, impersonally, make them feel like dirt. The poor are attentive to everyone. The poor are nice to everyone. The poor are more attuned to how other people are feeling and want them to feel better than the rich ever are. It's right here in the New York Times. And the guy is dead serious about it.